The alert system is a system that we speed the apprehension of criminals who kill or wounded officers in the line of duty. And it was actually passed by Congress, and the President Obama signed it on May 19th, 2015, and now it's in all 50 states, and the FCC just passed the law to put it on the alert system on your cell phones on December of last year, and it will go on just like an Amber Alert does.
I do not know you, but I am your brother.
You do not know me, but I am your protector.
I will run into a burning building to save your life.
Though I do not know your name, I will take a bullet for you.
Though we've never met,
I believe in duty and sacrifice
of self.
Your family is my family.
Is my family. Your life is my duty.
Guys, I'm sure if you follow this series and you've seen the dozens upon dozens of episodes, you know that I never do a prologue in the video, but today's an exception. The gentleman that you're about to meet is incredibly humble. He was willing to tell this to me off camera, but he wouldn't actually do it on camera because he's just sort of one of those humble guys. The man you are about to meet was shot in combat more than a dozen times. It's a miracle that he survived. His body was just riddled with bullets. He's still recovering to this day, but again, I think it's important to sort of honor and recognize the humility of so many of these men and women who are not willing to come out and tell you about the experiences that they truly went through, but are instead focused on the service to this country. So without further ado, here's that episode. What's going on, guys? Time for another special episode of Behind the Uniforms. We are here on location in Florida. I've got this guy who's going to tell you who he is in a second, but first we are out here for the Wounded Officers Initiative weekend. It is a spectacular event. We've got law enforcement today out here. The guys over at INFORCE sent us out here. We are really excited to capture the experience, but first to bring you some stories in a special series. So now tell everybody who you are.
My name is Tom Berry, and I'm the National Director of the National Blue Alert System and Foundation.
Okay, what's that?
The alert system is a system that we speed the apprehension of criminals who kill or wounded officers in the line of duty. And it was actually passed by Congress, and the President Obama signed it on May 19th, 2015, and now it's in all 50 states, and the FCC just passed the law to put it on the alert system on your cell phones on December of last year, and it will go on just like an Amber Alert does.
That's incredible. So why don't let's take a step back. Give me a little bit about you and your background.
I'm a 21 and a half year Army MP and communications specialist. I was wounded in Desert Storm, and we decided that instead of sitting around the couch and feeling sorry for myself, try to do something. I tried a weather app before the smartphones came out, and I was doing a pretty good job of it, but then Steve Jobs came out with a smartphone, with the iPhone, and all of a sudden the TV stations got the apps better than I could. So I just kind of figured out what I can do, and then all of a sudden we had an idea here in Florida that started in May 8th of 2008, the Blue Alert System, and it took off pretty well. 3 months later, Governor Perry signed it into law, and that worked out, and we got Georgia, then it just kept snowballing up to 29 states, and it's doing very well. And then Congress saw what we were doing and asked me about it, and then they put it in there. It took years, from 2010 to 2015. It took 5 years to get it going, but once it got going, we got it passed right away.
So now how does this work? If
an officer is killed or injured in the line of duty, and we know who the subject is, we have to know who the person is. The lead agency will let the state know. The state will set it out like I said, like an Amber Alert system, and they will text it to your phone that we're looking for this subject. And it'll also go now on TV and on radio.
Got it. So do you have to have a special app on your phone, or
No,
just automatically?
it's automatically adjusted. Amber Alert is automatic.
Awesome.
It'll happen by the end of this year. Since it was just passed last December, they have to give the cellular companies and the TV and radio a year to get it implemented.
So, I mean, aside from the fact that you were doing work in the app space already, and then you moved on to what was next, what inspired this?
Well, I knew that the system needed to be done, but the foundation side was because I was invited to a funeral of a fallen officer, and then to see firsthand the families, the children of a fallen officer really got me bad. I mean, now you see the other side, because people think, okay, officers are not human. That's what they think. They think they're just superhuman. They have no heart, no nothing. But they have a family. They have a heart. They go to McDonald's. They play games. They barbecue. They want to see football. They want to do all the stuff that's like everybody else is, because they are everybody else. And they have children that love their dad or their mothers. And it just tears me up every time I go to a funeral or I meet the families of a fallen officer. I don't know what to do. And we had one up in Ocala where a female trooper was killed, left a 4-year-old boy named Clayton. I did everything I can to help that little boy out, and I was just a small part of it. But the community came out and helped him. His father called up and said, "Hey, Tom, Clayton now has found out his mother's name's not on the memorial in Tampa." And I went to go and look to see why, and found out why. It took 3 years, but we finally got the memorial rebuilt, and his mom's name is now on it.
Wow, so this is the work of the foundation?
The foundation will rebuild memorials, will donate honor chairs, will memorial bands. We also donate bulletproof vests for canines, or all equipment to canines. Matter of fact, I got a whole bunch in my car right now that I'm going to be doing to Pinellas Park PD in a couple weeks.
Awesome. How can people help?
They can go to our website, which is bluealert.us, and they can see everything we do. They can see all the dogs that we have, that we did this for, the bulletproof vest or the equipment. They can also see all the stories of all the families that we help one way or another. We just did the thing here in Orlando where all the bicycle riders from Miami came up here, and I gave some of the families up here either a plaque with their husband's name on it or their wife's name on it, or I gave them necklaces with their husband's names on it. And I also gave it to the little girls too. It just trying to figure out what to do for them. It's all different. All situations are different. I don't want to try to be like, if somebody dies, you're going to get this. I try to change it up so it's all different and unique for the family.
Awesome. It's been a blast, man, getting to meet other patriotic individuals who are trying to serve some of these families that are often forgotten about. I don't know if you've heard of Megan from Blue Line Bears. So Megan, she's probably 15 now. Her father's a police officer. She takes the uniforms of fallen police officers and turns them into teddy bears for their kids.
Yes.
So it's really encouraging and powerful to see so many people finally coming together to support the causes surrounding fallen officers and their families. So, brother, thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for taking the 2 seconds it's going to take you to hit the share button on this video. The more that we can get these messages and these organizations out there, the more we could help the men and women who serve and protect our communities and our country. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sharing. God bless America.